Da 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 da. He's got a lot of tabs open tonight. Let's have a look at this one. 2014 Singapore Grand Prix.
I don't think we've had the call yet for the lap cars to unlap themselves, presumably because the marshals are still on the track running to try and clear the debris.
We've not had the call to unlap the cars because presumably the marshals are still on track waiting to clear the debris. What's this? The end of lap 56 of 58. The marshals still on track, finishing off clearing the debris, meaning that they can't release the lapped cars yet because there's marshals still on track clearing the debris, meaning the earliest they'll be able to release them is lap 57, which means lap 58 is a safety car lap, which means it's a safety car finish. As long as Lewis Hamilton doesn't crash out or suffer a mechanical breakdown now, he's an 8-time world champion. This is that moment that we know that. I mean, I don't know why we'd know that. Back in 2012, at the Australian Grand Prix, the first race of the season, what did you tell us, Crofty? What did you tell us, Crofty?
We're going to just wait for a little bit as the lapped cars now can overtake.
Oh, you've been able to identify these lap cars because Martin was telling us the day after Abu Dhabi that even identifying who those lapped cars is not as easy as you think, because it takes a bit of time to work out who's been lapped and who hasn't, and it's a manual process apparently. Apparently it's a manual process. But, you know, every race that they've happened since, you know, maybe about 46, 47, 48, I'll come to that in a minute, they've never had a problem. And neither of you in telling us.
Kovalainen, Timo Glock and Charles Pic, and it's a new for 2012 regulation this one.
New for 2012.
To basically stamp out some of the incidents we had last year when races would restart after a safety car period and there were...
Well, I'm not going to play through the misinformation you're about to give because the reason you give is wrong. But Wikipedia, I'll let you do this. You can all do it. You've all got Google or Bing. 2012 Formula One World Championship on Wikipedia. And if I scroll down, where have we got to? Got to go scroll down a bit, and it's got changes, rule changes, technical regulations. Technical regulations relate to the car itself. They're the bits that determine whether your car's legal. Probably Red Bull don't. You know, they exploit the grey areas. Apparently that's called cheating, but they hide cheating by calling it a loophole or a grey area. But this is the bit that's important for Abu Dhabi, the sporting regulations. After the final meeting of the World Motorsport Commission in December 2011, a series of amendments to the sporting regulations were published. Chief among these is the reintroduction of a rule that will allow all lap traffic under the safety car, which remains a Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, introduced in 2010, that's nice, to be released from the queue before the car returns to the pit lane, allowing the drivers to unlap themselves and ensure a clean restart. There you go. So, a reintroduction of a rule that will allow all lapped traffic. Is that any lap traffic, or is that all lap traffic, or does it just mean the same thing? Even race fans reported it. Race fans! You know, this guy gives a poor explanation as well because he can't explain it to you the way I explain it and the purpose behind it. But, you know, lapped cars are allowed to pass the safety car in 2012. You know, this is a journalist that informs you, which is supposed to educate you, but doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about because he can't explain why it is that. Okay, they just say, oh, it's to get them out of the way. It's not that at all. It's nothing to do with getting them out of the way. Okay, it is to ensure sporting fairness, which I can categorically demonstrate to you. Anyway, back to the footage. So is it this one? Let's have a look. Is it this one? The marshals on track as they are completing lap 56, which means the lapped cars cannot be released until they're past this incident, by which time Lewis Hamilton and the safety car is already on lap 57. That determines that it's a safety car finish. Or are we looking at this? Oh, here we go. Here we go. We've rewound the clock. Lap 51 of 58. As things stand, Lewis Hamilton 394.5 points. Max Verstappen 388.5 points. You know, we've never, well, we might have done, but I can't recall seeing half points in a World Championship before. Them half points that were awarded as a result of the Belgian parade, where they gifted Max 12.5 points for following a safety car for 2 laps and telling him that he'd won something. That's not a race when you can't compete. But he got 12.5, Lewis got 7.5, so there's a 5-point differential there, and the title of a race win. But anyway, that's not significant at this stage. What's significant is this.
As it stands, 394.5 points for Lewis Hamilton. He will become world champion.
Lewis will become world champion. Okay, that's fine. Let's just move on. Is there nothing significant about that? Nothing significant about Lewis becoming the world champion? You know, the fact that he'd become a record-breaking 8-time world champion. You know, that's not significant, is it? Let's just gloss over that. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Lewis will become an 8-time world champion. But actually, the thing we're going to focus on.
Verstappen will have led more laps than any other driver during the course of this season.
Yeah, Lewis will be champion. But you know what? Max would have led more laps than everybody else. Oh, okay. That's nice for him.
But it won't be enough to give him that dream of a first.
Oh, Max's dream. Max's dream. It's all about Max. It's all about Max, baby.
Ever Formula One World Championship. We've said it all season long, Martin.
Yes, you have, all season long. The narrative.
And especially this weekend, though, whoever is champion, both drivers have put in a champion performance.
Yeah, but, you know, that happens every season. Somebody wins, somebody doesn't. But it's all about Max.
All season long,
without doubt. But if you look back, there's all those little...
Right, I'm not listening to any more of your shit, Brundle. We'll move on to the next bit that's significant. Let's have a look at the next clip, which is this one. Let's have a listen to Martin here. So, what do we know? We know that since 2012, since the rules were changed, there's not been a single occasion where they haven't released the lapped cars. Well, there was one, and I'll come to that, and I'll tell you why the reason was why it wasn't released. Okay, but the other occasion, let me just get the statistics. Let me have a quick look, just so I'm not lying here. That was it, Singapore 2017. Go and do your homework on that one. It's the one event they didn't release the one and only lapped car that was 2 laps down at that point in time, and got himself lapped one of them laps down by pitting late in that safety car period. But I'll explain the full implications of that. Where was it? So in the 10 full seasons, by the way, this is slide 110 we're on at the moment. It's going to get bigger than this for when I drop the next big video with all of the fucking evidence in it. You corrupt bastard, FIA and Red Bull. It's coming out, right? So in the 10 full seasons, up until and including Abu Dhabi 2021, there were 199 Grand Prix held under these regulations, which mandated the unlapping procedure. It is not optional. During which there were 148 safety car deployments, 49 of which required the unlapping of lapped cars. Right? Just so you know that. Let's get back to what Martin's got to say.
Verstappen tucked up behind Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin there.
But he won't be on the restart.
Okay, but Max won't be on the restart. Well, are we going to get a restart? lap 54 or 58. We've got basically 2 laps with which to make sure that these lapped cars are released in, because if they're not released before the start of lap 57, we're not going to get a restart. But let's have a look.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
So look, we're on
Tell us, Crofty.
lap 54 of 58 here. They've got to clear that debris away, and
Yes, they have.
the fire extinguishers have obviously gone off because the brakes, I'm sure, were getting very, very hot.
Yes.
But they've also got to let the lapped cars unlap themselves.
Correct.
Just at the back of my mind, I wonder if we're going to get any racing laps in this race. Wait and see. This is what happened.
Wait and see. Right, I need to fast forward a little bit now. So I'm going to pause. Now we all like being kept on the edge of our seat, don't we? With the excitement, will it happen? Won't it happen?
Will we get any more racing laps or not? What jeopardy at the end of this Grand Prix.
What jeopardy. It's so exciting. This is such a spectacle. Nobody could construct this.
Of this World Championship, will there be any more racing laps? If there are, then Verstappen has got the tyres to really do something with them.
So what we know is, if there are, Verstappen will win. Martin knows that. Michael Massey and the other 9, at least 10 FIA personnel up in race control. Wait there. I mean, this one's an old one because there's Charlie Whiting, but you got this dude here, you got this one here, you got him there, you got him there, you got somebody there. That's just a typical kind of scene in FIA race control. It's not just Michael Massey. Here's another scene of FIA race control. And another. How many's in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 there. And there's a screen there, which I imagine somebody's looking at. Oh, there's somebody on the end there. That's 8. How many's in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 at the back there. There's 8. Oh, they're the 4 stewards, not the FIA stewards, just the Great White Hope himself, Derek Warwick there in this one. Which Grand Prix was that at? Was that one where he was learning whether releasing the lapped cars was to make sure they didn't get in the way of a race between the leaders? Or was it one where he saw them do 2 laps of the track to catch the back of the pack to ensure sporting fairness? I wonder which Grand Prix that was, Derek. There he is, look. Oh, and Boldy here. He was pictured back when Charlie Whiting was race director several years ago. So we've got Michael Massey there. There's about 2, 3 guys the other side of Massey. And there's a whole back row. Oh, there's somebody's nose. There's Michael. FIA race control. How many we've got on the back row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a seat there. Somebody's gone to the toilet. And on the front row, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's got to be at least 10 people in that room, if not more. Anyway, where was I?
Will they let the lap runners through?
Well, they have done on every single occasion, barring one, since 2012, Martin. Which surprises me that you're even asking that question, considering the regulations state that you have to. And there is no optional part of those regulations. And the one example that I've told you about, which is Singapore, which is whatever date it was, 2014. I'll show you why they didn't let him through on that occasion, because that's within the regulations as well.
Well, they always do let the lap runners
They do indeed, Crofty, because that's part of the regulations.
through, and in between Hamilton and Verstappen.
It doesn't matter who's in between Hamilton and Verstappen, because that's just 5 of the 8. Okay, so I don't need to just draw our attention to the 5 of the 8, because there's 8. So you can tell us all about all 8, but you never do. But you tell us who them 5 are 3 times.
Yes, but if they do that, it extends the safety car period.
No, it doesn't, Martin. It just is the safety car period. It's not an extension of the safety car period. It is what it is. That's what you have to do in order to go racing again.
But that's what they always do, take the lap runners out of the way so that
they do, but don't lie about the reason, because you're just about to, Crofty.
Not interfering in play.
Nothing to do with any sort of interference. It's to do with sporting fairness to every single competitor. If you remember, Lando Norris now in 7th place. Pierre Gasly now in 6th place after Perez's mysterious retirement. Norris was chasing Gasly down, but Hamilton had just lapped Norris. Now Norris has to stay behind Hamilton. He's this car here. There he is, look. Gasly has disappeared off all the way around the track and has joined the back of the safety car snake. So, you cannot leave Lando Norris a lap down now on Gasly. Martin will say, oh, just let them drop to the back of the pack. No, Martin, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, because what you've done is let a safety incident cause Norris to lose a lap on Pierre Gasly, who previously he was only 12 seconds behind. Hence the regulations of the sport. So you have to release him, and you have to give them the time with which to catch the back of the pack. You have to give them at least one lap as the opportunity to do that. And Massey knows that, because on 4 Grand Prix he's given them 2 laps to ensure that they could do that. So he knows the reason. That's a fact. They suggest that you can restart with them lapped cars in situ. They've not done that for 10 years because the regulations do not permit it. Yet Sky Sports are lying to you. They're lying to you. What did Mercedes know?
So, situation is, Verstappen has pitted. He had a free pit stop. We would have lost track position to him. 4 laps remaining when you cross the line. So this field has to bunch, and then they have to...
This is on lap 55, so F1 TV is now playing this half a lap, or at least half a lap after it was actually originally, this conversation actually took place.
Then lap cars through, so it may not restart.
There you go. It may not restart, meaning we've made this strategy call because this ain't going to restart.
It's going to take a while to sort out.
There might be one.
With new tyres.
Copy Lewis. We would have lost track position if we had pitted.
And that was the big key here.
Tell us what the big key here is here, Crofty. Tell us.
Mercedes for the 2nd time, keeping Lewis Hamilton out, whilst Max Verstappen pitted. Red Bull had nothing to lose.
Red Bull had nothing to lose. How many times did we hear that? Red Bull, they've got nothing to lose, everybody. They've got nothing to lose.
Hamilton potentially losing track position, and in this case, if we don't go racing again because you can't overtake under the safety car, he would have...
What would be the implication now, as we stand, is if we can't go racing again, because you can't go racing under the safety car, even though they call Belgium a race, but you can't go racing under the safety car,
have lost the World Championship.
Hamilton would have lost the World Championship. That's a bit of a strange way of articulating that, really. Because if we can't go racing again due to the safety car, then what is Lewis Hamilton? He's an 8-time world champion. But the way you want to talk about it is, if he had have pitted and lost track position, and we then don't go racing, he'd have lost it. But none of that happened, did it? None of that happened.
Is there a vehicle pulling the Williams out of the way or not yet?
Good question, Martin. Good question. Now, in many Grand Prix, what they do show us via F1 TV, the global broadcaster in terms of whoever constructs the footage, you've got Sky Sports F1 paid to present it and talk about it, but the people that can construct the actual footage and interject that footage with the radio messages from the teams is F1 TV. At previous races, they've showed us exactly what is going on at track, so we can see for ourselves how long that thing is going to take to be clear and when these things are going to happen, so we can determine for ourselves the likelihood of when racing is likely to resume. Why don't you show us that F1 TV? Because what you did show was virtually nothing. Lots of replays, lots of interjections of nothing, which I'll come to, but you didn't show us much live.
Can't see it at the moment. Ted, down to you.
Yeah.
You guys can't see. No, you can't see, guys. Just focus on the script. Just focus on the script. Oh, we finally get this bit. But it cuts off just before the safety car train comes round. And this is at the end of lap 55. Okay? It cuts off so you don't get a true impression. So, actually, if you look at tracker view here, in the bottom right-hand corner, right, you will see that Hamilton is coming through now, and will soon be coming through 11, 12, 13. But just as they cut away from this scene, the safety car arrives on the scene, but we don't see that. So unless you're Hawkeye looking at the tracker view, you don't get a full appreciation of what this correlates to one another.
Position.
The safety car's not going full gas down the straight.
Lewis, understood.
His tyres are cooling. He needs more pace, more heat into those tyres.
That doesn't matter if we're not going to go racing again. The heat into the tyres is not a problem if it's a safety car finish.
It's awful for Lewis then with those hard compound and heavily used.
See that cut away to a replay? That safety car, Snake, was just about to come round at that scene, meaning we've got one further lap, and if that scene could not be cleaned and be safe to go racing again within that lap, and those lap cars released, then it'd be a safety car finish. But they did not make that explicitly clear at any stage.
And but will they let the lap runners through? I don't think it's.
Why are you asking the question, Martin? Since 2012, 199 Grand Prix, 49 occasions. Has there been one where they didn't? Where the regulations didn't dictate that they shouldn't?
It's absolutely mandatory, but that.
It's mandatory, but you don't think it's mandatory. Those rules, which you tell us are like a legal document that are this thick, you think that they're optional, not mandatory.
It's normally on a wet day that they don't.
Oh, and in them 199 races, none of them, which were the safety car, involved a wet day in Spa. None of them.
And if so, how long will they wait for those lap cars to get out of the way? If they...
How long will they wait? Okay. How long will they wait? Well, again, we'll have a quick look because this isn't complete yet. This is why this is going to be a few days before I release this one. See these number 2s in this list here? Them names there, which are 49 races, where there's not a number next to them, that's one complete lap of the safety car beyond the lap in which those cars are released on. If there's a number next to it, such as a 2 or a 3, that's 2 laps of the safety car beyond the lap upon which those lapped cars are released. Okay, and that is not comprehensive yet. I've still got to go through a few just to double check. So how long will they wait, Martin? See, I don't know why you're asking the question. The man that's commentated on probably 199 of them races and has seen this happen 49 times, never seen it happen any other way in that time, but is asking the question.
Wait for them to catch the pack up, which they don't have to do.
Well, they don't, but you have to give them a minimum of 1 lap behind the safety, 1 additional lap of the safety car with which to attempt to catch And the way it's going to be is, if they're released on lap 57, that lap is lap 58.
Then I don't think we'll get a racing lap if they let them
Well, there you go. That means a safety car finish.
through. We could get one racing lap.
Checo, we need to retire the car. We need to retire the car. Box.
And for the
Really? Yeah.
Really? Why do we need to retire the car, says a shocked Sergio Perez. It's because we underfueled you, and there's a good chance what we were going to do is make you run out of fuel on track to cause a safety car to end up with this ending, had Latifi not have crashed. Although it could have been Latifi, I don't know, that's speculation at this stage, but we know it's a bit dodgy. But this is the thing. Have a listen to this.
Box.
And lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake.
What? Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. Let's just check something. So, since 2012, when they made it mandatory that you had to release the lapped cars, in all of those 199 races, they released the lapped cars, apart from one, when a car was 2 laps behind and pitted late in the safety car window, putting himself one of those laps behind. So 49 required the unlapping, which they did on 48 occasions. Well, there is one other, but again, I'll talk about that in the thingy, but that was a special case. That was Japan 2014, and some of you will work that out. Never once did they announce lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. Never once. It's the first time I've heard that ever announced.
Mandatory in the regulations, which
Yes, it is, Martin. Martin, you're reinforcing lies.
leaves Verstappen.
But it's a bit. You predicted it before it happened, didn't you, Martin? You've been telling us this for a while. Will they do it? It's not mandatory. Will they do it? They don't have to do that, and then they don't do it, Martin. That's it. That's. It's amazing your insight, isn't it, Martin? It's amazing that you knew what was likely to happen before it happened. And this banner you're seeing over the top of the screen, that's never authentic because you've never seen this banner before. Race control.
With a
Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. They've made that up because they don't normally have that at all. Because it's not a thing. It's not been a thing for 10 years. Oh, going down this straight, there is a radio message between Max Verstappen and I believe his race engineer Giampiero Lambiase, right? It takes place down this straight, and F1 TV select that message and broadcast it to the world later on in the lap, and I'm going to play you that message shortly.
So Mercedes will be Constructors' Champions at the end of this race, as it stands at the moment, assuming...
Well, they are. Perez has retired. Red Bull are 28 points behind in the championship at this moment in time, and the very most that Max Verstappen could achieve is 26. So both Mercedes could crash out and they'd still be champions.
That Hamilton and Bottas finish this race.
So that's a lie. But
Drivers' Championship, though, is very much up for grabs.
Well, it's not, because you can't go racing with lap cars in situ because the regulations dictate that. So why are you predicting that we're still going to see racing? Because the regulations say if it's safe to release the lapped cars, you release them. Which means if it's not safe, you don't release them. And if it's not safe to release lapped cars, you think it's safe to go racing? I'll give you the answer to that in case somebody doesn't understand. The answer is no. If it's not safe to release lapped cars, it's not safe to go racing in those cars.
The lapped cars won't be allowed to overtake, which
means it's not safe for those lapped cars to be released yet. Which means it's not safe to go racing yet. which means if it's not safe to release those lap cars by the end of this lap, it'll be a safety car finish. Lewis Hamilton is going to be an 8-time world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in the course of witnessing history.
Means that there are plenty of cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen for Verstappen to fight his way through.
No, it doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean that in the slightest.
Norris, Alonso.
That list of 5 again, anyway. Bit of fast forwarding.
None of which are for position, of course.
No.
They're obliged to get out of the way, but Lewis will be long down the road.
Yeah, that's not a good situation, is it? This fake scenario that's not allowed to happen. But if them lap cars are in the way, Lewis will be long down the road. Nobody wants Lewis to be long down the road, do they?
That I suppose is the compromise that race control have made here.
You're explaining. Well, the way I see this is that race control are making a compromise. Is that authentic commentary of a sport? When you witness a sport and something is taking place, the sports officials are not applying the rules of the sport and freestyling it. Do the commentators go, what on earth is going on here? This isn't allowed. But not Brundle and Crofty. They predict that it's going to happen before it happens, and then they explain it smoothly as to exactly what race control are actually doing here. Rather surprising.
By giving the best possible chance for racing to the finish rather than...
Okay, it's a good explanation.
Finishing behind the safety car, they've decided the lap cars will stay where they are.
Well, that's the explanation, is it? They're not allowed to do that, but that's the explanation. You've jumped to that conclusion that they're going to break the rules of the sport to give us a chance of a racing conclusion. That's what you're saying, and you've predicted that. If you watch any sport, I'm predicting that I'm actually saying, I guess they're just breaking the rules just so that we get to see something that might excite a few people. Would that be what a commentator would say to an authentic sport? Now, this is the radio interjection.
Cancel that. Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
Okay, Max, lap cars can't overtake because it's not safe to overtake, so you can't release them, which means it's going to be a safety car finish, is what he should be saying.
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
A typical decision. Okay, remember, F1 TV, the sports broadcasters who have been broadcasting the sport for however many years, okay? So they know what the sport's all about. They have broadcast however many Grand Prix. Did they go back to 2012 when these regulations were introduced? Was it the same broadcasting team? Is it the same editorial team that is cutting to camera to camera to camera to show the world the Grand Prix? Did they broadcast 199 Grand Prix where this never happened? Did they broadcast the 49 times which required the unlapping of lapped cars? And then they've heard a message where Verstappen is going, oh, this is typical that they're not releasing the lap cars. I'm not surprised. Well, it's not typical. It is certainly not typical because it's never happened before. So how can that be described as typical? So why would you actually show that to the world, F1 TV? Why would you present that to the world, Max Verstappen suggesting that it's typical that this is what they're doing? Or are you creating a narrative? Are you creating the narrative that Red Bull are being hard done by? Oh, we don't want Red Bull to be hard done by. We don't want to see Lewis Hamilton disappearing down the track. We want to see this last lap shootout. Oh, we want excitement. But you know that Hamilton's a sitting duck. Does that excite you? Does that excite you?
It's classic.
It's classic. So, Giampiero Lambiase, you're calling this classic. Okay? Classic. 199 Grand Prix. And you're calling this classic. Okay.
I'm not surprised.
And you're not surprised. Okay? You're not surprised that the incident can't be cleared up in time and it's going to be a safety car finish. Or you're not surprised that they're going to restart the race with 5 cars in place, meaning you're not going to catch him. Which bit are you not surprised about?
Look, I'll try and look at this objectively. We should get
Tell us, Crofty.
1 lap of racing here.
Why? Why do you suggest to the world that we should get 1 lap of racing here? Why? The rules don't permit that, but you're telling us that that is what we're likely to see.
If we allowed the lap cars to overtake, we'd have no laps of racing to the...
Okay, but why do you think that we should get 1 lap of racing then? Because you can't leave lap cars in situ, because the regulations don't permit that, and there's a reason they don't permit that.
Checkered flag. So what do Red Bull want?
Oh, well, this is where I've gone wrong. It's what Red Bull want, okay? What do Red Bull want? I get it now. I get it now. So really, Red Bull are in cahoots with the FIA. Them 10 guys in FIA race control, yeah? Red Bull are in cahoots with them. So they're kind of between them conspiring to fix the outcome of this race, which F1 TV are creating the narrative for, and which SkySports F1 are lying about the rules of the sport to condition all viewers to actually believe it's even possible for that last lap. Now, I'm going to just fast forward. So this is the point in time where we know it's going to be a safety car finish. I'm just going to play it on till the 2nd or 3rd corner of lap 57.
Max Verstappen and Giampiero Lambiase as race engineer, do they want the chance, or do they want to finish behind the safety car with no
Ask Red Bull what they want.
overtaking? Because I think that is the decision that has come from race control.
Well, you've worked that out really well, Crofty, all by yourself.
And personally, this is the decision that gives them the best chance if they want it.
Yeah.
Personally, this is the decision that gives Red Bull the best chance. Is that what the rules and regulations of Formula 1 are designed for? Okay? To give Red Bull the best chance? Or do they apply evenly to all teams and all competitors for sporting fairness across the board to all competitors? I think the answer is actually the first one. It shouldn't be, but actually that's the truth of the matter.
I mean, the regulation, as I said, they may allow the lap cars through. It's not.
You're lying, Martin. You're lying. You've lied since 2012. You're giving your opinion. You've conditioned people. You're lying.
Mandatory, to point it out, but as you
It is mandatory. 100% mandatory. There's not optional rules.
point out, Crofty, there'd be no racing laps if they let the lap cars through.
So tell us, Martin, tell us what you think.
Because I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap, and there will be 1 racing lap.
Who could have thought and who could have predicted it? Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I haven't done this for a while, but please like, comment on this video, and hit the subscribe button. I need as many people as possible to see the next video that I do, and I need to grow the channel as big as possible, and the next one is going to be ridiculous. Okay, when you see the evidence that I'm going to present, like I say, this is 110, 111 slides of a slideshow so far, and it's growing. Okay, when you see what I present, it's going to blow a lot of people's minds. Exactly what the FIA knew, what Red Bull know. Okay, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this one, and hit the bell notification so you get a notification of when that next video drops, because that's one not to miss. Thanks for your time.